You must bring a tahor bird. You cannot have a tamei bird. Why? Lafi shanegoim botin. Why did you get this nega? Why did you get this affliction on your body? A Lashon Hara. We all know that the Mitzayir was a Baal Lashon Hara. Okay, so what's so bad? Zogt Rashi, and the Torah is telling us this, that I'll tell you what's wrong and why you got the nega. Why did you get the nega teras? Because Shehu Ma'aseh Patet B'Putei Dvarim. Now, before we get into explaining what a person did wrong, let's go through a couple more of the kashas here about Lashon Hara. The Mesilas Yesharim brings in Nikias, it's brought over there about the Chomer Ha'inyan, how bad Lashon Hara is. Everyone always talks about Lashon Hara, but sometimes it falls in between the cracks of all the more popular Averis. But in truth, Mesilas Yesharim says like this. A lot of people, in fact, most people steal. Okay, so that needs pshat. Some people do immoral actions. The kulam, but every single person, ba'avak Lashon Hara, stumbles in the dust of Lashon Hara. Okay, so that's a pella atzuma, that everyone stumbles with Lashon Hara. Okay, what's avak Lashon Hara? Small things, whatever it is, we need to spend a lot of time focusing on what exactly it is that we're doing, because everyone struggles with it. There's no one that's left out. Another Maram about Lashon Hara. Gemara in Erchin, Daf Tesvav Amud Beis. Kol ha-mesaper Lashon Hara ki'ilu koifer be'ikr. Anyone who says over Lashon Hara is as if he was koifer be'ikr. He denied the existence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, denied the Torah, Rachmanu litzlan. Such a bad thing. He just said Lashon Hara. Needs pshat. It's screaming darsheni, as Rabbi Elfin says. What exactly is going on here? And if it's so bad, how is it possible that we can do this? So l'chayra, we'll think about it and we'll say, then why does a person say Lashon Hara? Why do I put others down? Mistama, we can say that I'm jealous. I don't know. He has something good and I don't have that. So if I put him down in some weird, terrible way, I make myself feel better. That's Pashup Pshat, what we think. Maybe it is a gaiva thing. Seems to be there's a mashmois later on in Rashi that you have to bring a specific eitz erez ve'ezoi because it's a gaiva thing. But really, the Medrash and Rashi and the Torah tell us a chiddush gadol in Lashon Hara, that people say Lashon Hara. If we want to know why we say Lashon Hara and we can't stop ourselves, it's because Ma'aseh Patet B'Putei Dvarim Lafika Chosuku L'Tarasik Tziparim Shemefafifim Tameh B'Tzif Kol. Because we give no thought to our actions. There's no simas lev. We just continue on to talk, to chatter. We bring a bird. The carbon is a bird. Because just like a bird just chirps the whole time, so too, this person, a Baal Lashon Hara, he just chirps. Unbelievable. Rabbi Yerucham explains, Nifla'im hadvarim. It's unbelievable to think about why this person has such a horrible affliction on his guf. Because he said Lashon Hara, and what's the problem? He just didn't put his mind onto what he's doing. I want to be masbid for a second about how kadosh our mouths are. Because l'chayra, if we want to make ourselves to not do, how do you make yourself to give chashivas to something? How do you make yourself think about what you're doing and stop yourself from doing it? You think about how chashuv it is. Our mouths, we know, people are a medaber. We are a higher level than animals because we can talk, we have intellect. We're called a medaber. We're called people who can speak. People who can speak. The ability to talk is what makes us human. Number one, that's the first thing. We see how holy our mouths are. How about when we talk, how many mitzvahs hayom? How many mitzvahs do we do per day with our mouths? Our mouths are like a shofar. We can go ahead and say Kriya Shema in the morning, a mitzvah asemi doraisa. Like shofar, our mouths are a lulav. Our mouths are a shofar. The Rambam it's in Avos. It's in Pirkei Avos. The first parak halacha Yud Zayin or Mishnah Yud Zayin. The Rambam is explaining different levels of Lashon Hara. One of the horrible, unbelievable chiddush. One of the levels of Lashon Hara is what that you just said. Eich shemechalek inin hadibur lekama chalakim. Umeguna ma'oid, what's a terrible, terrible thing? Hadibur she'ein boi called tayelas. Something that you're just talking for no apparent reason. We'll say a chiddush naira. A person just blurts out, I'm thirsty. That is a davar tameh. It's a kamad. It's not an avera, but it's the Rambam. It says it's a very degrading thing for a person to do. What do you mean? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm thirsty. But you're using a shofar as a pencil holder. You're using a shofar, which is your mouth, which is a kli tahar, as just as a toaster. You're using it as something that has no kedusha. If we understand how holy our mouths are, it'll help us to put a simas lev, to think about, okay, so I'm not just a bird, I can't just chirp, I can't just say anything. The chiddush here we're going to say clearly, to put it down, Zok Rabbi Yerucham in Lashon Hara, we say Lashon Hara not because we have bad midas necessarily, but because we don't think about what our actions will come out of them, and we don't give any chashivas to our actions. If we're misbeinin on how chashiv our mouths are, we'll stop just to chatter on, and just to say things that have no tayelas. We should be zoicha this week and all the weeks to take upon ourselves different kabbalas and Lashon Hara. The Heilige Chafetz Chaim, his name is I think Rabbi Yisrael Meir HaKohen Kagan, and his most famous sefer is probably, or Sfarim is probably the Mishnah Brura, believe it or not, which is a pirush in how everyone paskins on all Hilchos Orach Chaim, and there's some that say that's written with Ruach HaKodesh. You can medayik it like Rashi, but still we don't call him the Baal Mishnah Brura. We call him the Baal Chafetz Chaim, because a Chafetz Chaim is someone who is lishmor piyu l'shayni, someone who protects his mouth from Lashon Hara, from the sefer that the Chafetz Chaim wrote about Lashon Hara. Already we see how chashiv this inyan is, that kulam ba'avak Lashon Hara, we all stumble in Lashon Hara, how important it is for us to just place a little bit of our head on, our mouths aren't just a kli chulin, they're rather a kli kodesh. Should be zoicha to be lishmar piyu l'shayni mikol davar ra. Have a good Shabbos.